And we are live and recording.
Great, thank you. All right, welcome everybody to the September 4th, 2025 special meeting of the Board of Trustees. This relates to the Executive Director Search Committee. Going to open the meeting, call it to order, and can we take roll call, please?
Buenaventura.
Present.
Cisneros.
Present.
Good.
Here.
Gore.
Here.
Grande.
Here.
Harrison not present. Huser.
Here.
Sowell.
Present.
Stallings.
Present.
Stevens.
Here.
Tony.
Present.
Trejo. Trejo not present, but Chair, you have a quorum.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you to everybody for making yourselves available for this meeting. I want to make a call for public comment. And before we begin public comment, I'd like to remind everyone that under the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, public comments must pertain to items that are on the agenda or be related to matters that are within the jurisdiction of this agency. And given that the Board of Trustees need to have a discussion on the closed session item agendized for today with limited time, going to limit public comment to 2 minutes unless previously stated otherwise, and we'll go with individuals who wish to address the board in order of those who signed up ahead of time. So we also appreciate those who had signed up in advance. So if you are participating though via Zoom and would like to address the board, please raise your hand. Doing so will alert staff that you'd like to address the board, so please raise your hand now, and we'll attempt to call on you in the order in which hands are raised. If you're appearing via telephone, you can hit the star key and then number 9. That will virtually raise your hand, and we'll also alert staff that you'd like to make public comment. We'll attempt to call on those in the order and hands that hands are raised. Again, like I said, due to time restrictions, we cannot allow more than 2 minutes for each speaker. Staff will have that on-screen timer visible to all attendees during the duration of your public comment. The timer's 2-minute countdown will begin as soon as you start your comment. The on-screen timer will flash throughout the final 10 seconds. So again, please raise your hand if you'd like to address the public or address this board. We will go to those who signed up in advance. Madam Secretary, can you please call those individuals?
Yes, and Chair Stallings, we do have 2 who signed up in advance, but I see 10 total remote hands raised.
Okay, great, thank you.
So we will start with Kai on 6289. Your mic has been enabled.
All right, Kai on, can you hear us? Okay, you're not coming through. Maybe we can go to next caller and then circle back.
Sure. Next, we have Benjamin Cohn. Your mic has been enabled.
Hello, thank you. I addressed the audit committee regarding the expense report for travel, where it appeared that individual staff members were spending as much as $350 in a day on restaurants, as for Amy Nunez specifically, and approaching that for some of the other individual staff. I appreciated Trustee Tony's questions to clarify that that had actually been over multiple days in some cases, but I'm still seeing even over, if it was over a couple days or a few days, that we're talking close to $100 a day at best, and probably on some days more than $100 for individual staff people, and that does still appear to be significantly higher than the other governmental agencies authorize their staff when traveling for meals. I know there was a federal standard mentioned. I am not sure that I see how it complies with the standard that was given based on these expense reports. So I was still hoping there could be additional scrutiny, if not for the past expenses, in the future expenses for those policies, given that there's still a pending proposal to be brought in November to raise applicant fees, which is the absolute worst way to fund any need for increased funding that measure may have caused, at least pending them compensating the state bar for those damages that are being used as the basis for the fee increase. Even if that's not enough, there should still be loans available to use those damages instead of a fee increase. So that's all I had for now. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go back to Kai on 6289. Your mic has been enabled.
Good afternoon. My name is Kai Ong. Some staff in State Bar are intentionally delaying the investigation of my complaint, case number 25-0-12611 and 12612. Attorney General and Sacramento DA know my complaint but did not investigate. Sacramento DA office and police department provide fake and forgery document about the death of my father's death is a criminal matter. However, State Bar staff claim that it is a civil matter. In February, State Bar dismissed my complaint. Then I filed complaint review. In March, State Bar complaint review unit informed me my complaint review request was pending for review. In August last week, 6 months later, State Bar complaint review unit sent me letter again. My complaint review request is still in pending. At the beginning, State Bar staff used an incorrect reason to dismiss my complaint. Then State Bar staff keep pending my complaint review request. It is clearly some State Bar staff are helping to cover up a scandal 25 years ago about the investigation of my father's death. Board of Trustees, please find out the State Bar staff that involved inside State Bar and allow me to discuss my case. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Audit LA. Your mic has been enabled.
Hi, good afternoon. I am calling because I filed a complaint against one of your attorneys, Kendrick Moxon. His sole client is the Church of Scientology, and he has been kind of coming after me because I am somebody who advocates for the survivors of Scientology, some of whom I hope you will hear from today. And so he's been trying to slander me with city attorneys who I need to be able to professionally deal with. And he's doing it underhandedly. And I did file a complaint, and they came back, you guys came back and said it's not quite there to where you can intervene. But you guys, I really hope you do intervene. He's defending the Church of Scientology. It's his only client. And mind you, he's an unindicted co-conspirator in the biggest infiltration of the US government called Operation Snow White. I hope you do your due diligence and look into that. And he is still practicing today, and he's a high-level OT level Scientologist. And so he's under certain mandates by Scientology. So I am asking I like to put my complaint through to the ethics, wherever your ethics board is. I don't know where or how to do that, but you have to look into the ethics of it. Like, how is he able to, because when you know their protocols, what Scientology demands of all their adherents, like, you will realize that you are allowed to break the laws. They are forced to break the laws. So how can an attorney who is a Scientologist who's forced to break laws to protect Scientology then be a credible lawyer with a bar license? He does not deserve a bar license. It needs to be investigated and revoked. And any other lawyer working for Scientology, like I think his name is Timothy Bowles, or anyone else, they need to be investigated. If they are a Scientologist and a lawyer,
Your
please
time has
investigate.
concluded.
Thank you.
And I do want to remind individuals listening that in order to file a complaint, you can go to the calbar.ca.gov website. And the complaint procedures are spelled out there on the webpage. Thank you.
Next, we have Jill. Jill, your mic has been enabled.
Hi, I'm gonna reiterate what your previous caller said about Kendrick Moxon, bar license 128240. I'm very concerned that a person is allowed to work for such a criminal cult organization and be licensed under the California bar. You have to realize that he represents this criminal organization or cult, as I'd like to call it, and participates in lawsuits that are that comprise of lying and trumping up charges against people that protest against their abuses of child trafficking, child abuse, child neglect, and in the past, this cult has put babies from birth that whose parents are in the Sea Org into nurseries with no care and with 8-year-olds watching them, and the babies don't get care. So he's on behalf of this criminal organization, filing restraining orders and going to court and lying about the people. And in addition to that, there was a case that he doctored up a video in a lawsuit, and it was a doctored video lying on the person that they filed restraining orders against, because the person was at their property just protesting and educating the community on this abusive cult. And this has got to stop. You have to have something in your bar association that lawyers should not be representing criminal cults and enabling cults to break the law, because that's unethical and he needs to be disbarred. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ray Hayden. Your mic has been enabled.
If I can get my mouse over to the unmute button. I have two things. Number one is to continually voicing my strong support for the opportunity to have remote examinations, taking in mind that I know about the potential of being locked into the 2-year rule right now. Also, the fee waiver. A lot of us, me specifically, the only reason I took the February 2025 exam is because it was remote. I'm in Florida. I'm that Florida guy, and I won't go to California anymore because we get fleeced when we go. I can afford it. I just don't want to get fleeced. You know what? No kiss first. So no. I highly ask that the fee waiver be attached to the exam taker, because there's a bunch of us around the planet here that are not going to go back to California just to take the exam. I think that it can be done remotely, and based on the agreements that are already in place between the Board of Trustees and the CBE, that anything more than 2 times a year would necessitate a remote exam in some form or another, and maybe make it just for the people who aren't in California can take it remotely, and those who need accommodations. I would appeal to Ben Cohn for that expertise. One more thing, though, just generally, this is administrative law stuff. I would recommend to people calling in and complaining about all kinds of things that have nothing to do with this particular board or any particular board to use ChatGPT or Gemini and Google administrative law official public meeting processes and procedures. And if you follow them, you can win. Okay, if you're in the right, you can win. We just won a huge matter to have the county sign on to a complaint that we were having against a local developer. So just for public information, administrative law, public meeting procedures, and you'll really get much further with your complaints. Have a great meeting, and best wishes to your choice you have to make. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Laura FM. Your mic has been enabled.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Board, the State Bar, for listening. I was a child born and raised in the cult of Scientology as an internal member, and I was an underage minor working alongside of Kendrick Litchie Moxon, number 128240. I was a indentured slave servant to the cult of the of Scientology and the activities that I was doing along the side of this fraud lawyer, Kendrick Moxon, license 128240, were things like shredding evidence, covering up documents or falsifying documents. Kendrick Moxon himself, if you look up on the Wikipedia page that promotes and represent who Kendrick Moxon is, it clearly states that he was an unindicted co-conspirator after the FBI investigation into criminal activities by Scientology operatives during an operation called Snow White, Operation Snow White, where they overturned and falsely got their IRS tax and oh my God, revoked. I'm trying to get it revoked, but that's how they look it up. Operation Snow White. Kendrick Moxon falsified documents in that case and many other cases. I'm telling you, I am 40 years old now. Please investigate Kendrick Moxon. He is bringing people into false restraining orders into court today, right now. Protesters that are exposing the crimes that he was a part of. His own daughter unalived herself, and he covered up her suicide. This is a permanent lawyer for Scientology that has been doing this and attacking and stalking and harassing protesters and people who were once inside the organization of Scientology. He does not have the authority to do that. There's a law that says he may not use his license.
Has concluded.
I would just want to remind everybody that under the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, public comments must pertain to items that are on the agenda or be related to matters that are within the jurisdiction of this agency. Thank you. Next commenter, please.
Next, we have Henri Marini. Your mic has been enabled.
I just want to follow up on some comments, but in particular, I want to address Los Angeles City Attorney Heidi Soto and a already active complaint, as well as an FBI investigation for her collusion with co-conspirators involved in Scientology to suppress the civil rights of various people. One of the things I actually have directly as a complainant and an affected party is I was the victim of not only a vindictive and selective prosecution of Heidi Soto, but I was acquitted of the charge ultimately because it was found that she prosecuted me on a completely meritless case as a political favor. I have it on a recording where I interviewed her at a public hearing, and I asked her directly that question of why she prosecuted myself, and she admitted that my case was completely bogus and it was never going to go anywhere. They are the cult of Scientology is a big financial contributor to her campaign trail. Not only does it show intent, not only is the act, but it's specifically the outcome of suppressing the First Amendment rights. And when you have a police report that shows that it was completely a frivolous case, where they show there was no merits, not only that, but you have CPRA records of other LAPD high-ranking officers, lieutenants and sergeants, also going to the Church of Scientology and telling them that what they're doing to suppress people's First Amendment rights, to keep them from protesting peacefully on the public sidewalk, is a violation of the law. And it is, in fact, this grand conspiracy, this collusion between the Heidi Feldstein Soto, the city, Los Angeles city attorney, to prosecute anybody that dares dissent on her political backers. That in and of itself is the precursor civilly to a civil RICO, to a more grander scheme of a criminal RICO. So if you want to talk about how you can link these people, and you want to talk about you don't have enough to link Moxon and others to a grander conspiracy, you do in fact have enough here with the recording I have on Heidi, with all that.
Next, we have Gina Strasser. Your mic has been enabled.
Hello, thank you. I know you guys keep saying to keep it on topic, but this does affect you guys if you look under Rule 2.1 with Kendrick Moxon. Independent professional judgment attorneys must exercise independent judgment and render candid advice free from improper influence. There's a wrinkle in this with Mr. Moxon. He's not only an attorney for Scientology, but he's a high-level Scientologist. So what does this mean? He has a personal religiously conditioned loyalty to Scientology's leadership, including Mr. Miscavige. His independent judgment might be constrained by Scientology doctrine or fear of repercussions within the Church of Scientology if he does not act in line with their directives. His legal strategies might serve Scientology's institutional goals rather than traditional client-lawyer considerations. This has been documented time and time again for 40 years. Please look into this. As a member of the community, I am concerned about this ethical. I look to you guys for the law. Why is the law not following your own rules? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Mona M. Your mic has been enabled.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I would like to report a violation of your current rules of professional conduct. It's specifically in your website and it is within your purview. In specific, the rules for maintaining the integrity of the profession. This is a report against Kendrick Moxon. Lots of us today saying a lot of this. Rule 8.4.1 prohibited discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. I won't read through the whole thing. But Section B, in relation to a law firm's operations, a lawyer shall not, on the basis of any protected characteristic, unlawfully discriminate or knowingly permit unlawful discrimination. And this refers, I am sure, to reverse discrimination, also where the attorney provides protection to a criminal, giving them a pass because of their shared religious beliefs. Of course, you know what the protected characteristics are: race, religion, creed, color, nationality, origin. But it's not only what is actual, but it's also perceived. Section 2, knowingly permit, means to fail to advocate corrective action where the lawyer knows of a discriminatory policy, excuse me, I'm nervous, or practice that results in the unlawful discrimination or harassment. This should also include where an attorney knowingly permits to provide corrective action when his or her employees provide reverse discrimination. In this case that I'm talking about, and I will supply a written complaint on your website also, as you're stating, Mr. Chair, is that people are admitting sexual abuse, child abuse, and other criminal activities where the caseworkers, not necessarily just ministers, are taking these reports and not reporting them through camera.
Your time has concluded.
Thank you.
Next, we have Eyes to See 33. Your mic has been enabled.
Greetings, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. I just wanted to add on to what so many people here were talking about regarding Kendrick Moxon and his alleged criminal behaviors as a so-called lawyer. I also wanted to talk about his daughter. Her name was Stacy Moxon Meyer. Many people that were within the organization of Scientology stated that Stacy Moxon had written a suicide note, but miraculously it disappeared after everything had gone down. The report stated that she had thrown herself into a 7,200 volt VAC subservice vault. And the stories that were being told were that she was trying to save a squirrel. And overall, I just want to say that I feel Kendrick Moxon, as a lawyer, is acting in a very criminal way. That's my opinion. And isn't it interesting that all she wanted to do was to see her husband and her father, and she was getting some type of ethics handlings or security checks. And then after that, when she was not allowed to see her family, is when this happened. And her father never attended the funeral. I find that very suspect. Thank you so much for hearing me. I yield back my time.
Thank you. Next, we have Claire. Your mic has been enabled.
Good afternoon. This is Claire Silot from the Legal Services Funders Network. Thank you so much for this opportunity to address the board. This afternoon, we'll be holding one of our learning sessions with our 2025 LSFN Fellows, and the key focus of the session will be on the justice gap. So first, I want to thank you all so much for the updated 2024 Justice Gap report. It is rich with information, and we'll be using it as the guide for today's learning session. A couple pieces from that report that I really want to highlight to this board, as I think it really impacts the decision about the next executive director as well as the future of the bar exam, has to do with the reality that in California, we have simultaneously seen a reduction in the number of attorneys that practice people law, and at the same time, an increase in the number of California licensed attorneys who reside outside of California. This has increased the justice gap. We know that over 80% of low-income individuals, those who are most in need of assistance, are not getting adequate legal assistance. It is imperative that as this board, you think about your duty to the public as you make all of these important decisions in the coming months. I urge you to focus on the needs of Californians and making sure that they have access to adequate legal representation as you think about these important decisions that you now face. Thank you so much for your time, and I yield back the rest of my time.
Thank you. Chair Stallings, we do not have any more raised hands.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Salat, for those comments. We're going to now close the public comment period. At this time, we are going to now move into closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 11126, Sub A, Sub 1, to discuss the appointment for Executive Director. So thank you. We are agendized to go through 5 o'clock. However, if you're a member of the public and waiting for us to come out, that's our best guess. So for those trustees who are appearing via Zoom, you should have a special link that has just been sent to you. So we'll see you on the other side.
We are live and recording.
Great, thank you. All right, I'm going to adjourn the Board of Trustees meeting. We are out of closed session and there is nothing to report at this time. Thank you.